Hello everyone, so today in this video we are going to solve a question of LeetCode, that is shift 2D grid. This is 1268th question of LeetCode and this comes under easy category. Alright, so let's start with the problem statement. Given a 2D grid of size m into n and an integer k, you need to shift the grid k times. So basically we have given a 2D grid of integers and we need to shift this grid k times. So there are three conditions given here is like if element is at grid I comma j. Let's say we are taking the first example. So in the first example we have k equal to 1. So when we have k equal to 1 and we need to shift this grid by k equal to 1. So let's take the first condition if I comma j, like grid I and j moves to I j plus 1. So like 1 is shifted to I j plus 1, that is here. Then here j plus 1 is not there, or we can say it is exceeding the column limit. So what will happen? This second statement will take place. Alright, so when I comma n minus 1, n minus 1 is basically column minus 1. So this is the column minus 1 index, so it will just move on to the next row. Alright, so let's say in the first example we have k equal to 1, so we need to shift this 3 by k times, or we can say 1 time. So while shifting it 1 time, there is no element in the next column, or we can say there is no column present over there. So we will just shift to next row. Similarly, let's see the third statement. In the third statement, it is given if this is the last, or we can say down right corner of, or we can say bottom right corner of the matrix. So what will happen? It will just move to the upper left corner. Alright, so let's say we have k equal to 1 here and the bottom right corner is 9. So when bottom right corner is 9 and we need to shift it by 1, so there is no column present after this and there is no row present after this. So what will happen? It will just move on to the 0 comma 0 index. Alright, I hope you are able to understand this somehow. So the basic intuition behind this is we need to consider this 2D array such that it is a 1D array. Alright, so we need to manipulate the indexes such that we consider this as a 1D array. So let's see how can we do this. I hope the problem statement is clear to you and the solution approach is also very simple. So let's quickly just move on to the coding. So let's take two integers. Int r is equal to grid dot size. This will be storing the number of rows in our matrix. And let's take int c is equal to grid 0 dot size. This will be storing the number of columns in our matrix. Now let's take int total is equal to r into c. This total is basically storing the number of elements into our matrix, because we are checking this, or we can say we are storing this right now because whenever we will just update the position of any element by k times, so we will just take a modulus with this total value, so that it will not exceed the limit. Alright, like when we have, let's say we have 9, so when we move 9 to next column, so it will start from 0 comma 0, not it, because there is no column and row after this, so we cannot take beyond this, or we can say we cannot move it more than this. So we will be starting from this, so that's why we are taking total here. We will just modulus with this total value in our somehow we will just manipulate the values in the 1D array and we will just take modulus with total. You will understand this later when we will code. So yeah, let's move on to the for loop. So int I is equal to 0, I should be less than r and I plus plus. Let's run another for loop. Int c int j equal to 0, j should be less than c and j plus plus. These are basically we are just traversing through the matrix. So let's calculate the position of current element. So int, let's name it current is equal to, so let's say we have this array. Alright, so let me just make a comment here. let's say we have this array and we need to consider this as a 1D array since it is a 2D array. And when we are shifting the elements, so basically we are just rotating the array by k times. Hope you are able to imagine this. We are just, let's say we have this array and we are just rotating the values of this array by one time as it is given here. Like 1 is shifted by one place, 9 is like when 9 is rotated, so 9 will be coming to the 0th place. Alright, you are, I think you are able to imagine this. So let's see how can we do this using code. So let's say we have, let's say we are we want to find out the position of this element in the 1D array. So how can we do this? So let's say int current position is basically the number of rows, that is I. So I into the total number of columns, because every row will contain maximum C number of columns. So let's multiply this by C. Alright, let's say we are just calculating this. So we need to, let's say when we need to access this one, so this J will represent the index of this column. Alright, so this is representing the index of this column. This is J and we are adding I into C. So why we are adding I into C? Because we need to calculate these positions, these many positions. These many positions are basically the current row into total number of columns, like how many columns and rows we already traversed through this till now. So this is basically counting the index of current index. So let's update this index by key position. So let's update. So current, let me write new current here. New current will be equal to current plus k. Now we have just updated this by k places. So after updating it by k places, there might be a possibility that it may go beyond this. As we have seen, this 9 will come to 1. But if we write only this statement, there is a possibility that it may go beyond this, and there is no element beyond this. So what will we will do? We will just take modulus of total here. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. We are taking modulus of total because we are just limiting the values of the index. Okay, let's update the value. So let me make a vector here, vector of vector int answer. Let's initialize all the values with 0. So vector int c comma 0. I hope this is fine. So let's update the value. So answer new current divided by c and new current modulus of c. This will be equal to, like, this is the updated position, and let's put the current index or the current value at the updated index. So grid I comma j. I hope this is fine. So let's just return answer from here. Okay, so let's just try to run it. There is an error. Let me check. Yeah, we did a syntax error here. Yeah, it's working fine now. So let's just submit it. Yeah, it's working fine. So let's calculate the time and space complexity of our solution. So the time complexity of our solution is big O of n into m, or we can say r into c, because we are traversing through all the r into c elements, that is the total elements. All right, and space complexity of our solution is also big O of r into c, because we are storing r into c elements into our answer vector. So I hope the approach is clear to you and code is clear to you. If you still have any doubt in this question, feel free to comment it down. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.